Trying to make a video I didn't really want to make, but kind of excited to start making now. I haven't done a lot of videos lately because I really haven't had much going on and been kind of bored and working on some other stuff. But I was racing that this weekend. Made some test passes on Thursday night, a couple on Friday. Then Saturday got one test pass in before the event started and hatched the motor. Bottom end sounds like it's still okay, but it either broke the cam chain and knocked everything out of the head, or it dropped a valve or something and the head failed, and then pistons came up, hit valves, and then that probably broke the chain. So it's kind of a chicken or the egg situation right now. So it doesn't matter. We'll pull it all apart and get it broke down and see what's going on. But right now I'm going to start prepping the bike basically to go into storage because I'm going to be done for the year. So we're going to get fuel system cleaned, get the methanol out of it. We'll run some pump gas through it with some stabilizer, some lubricants, keep the fuel system and the fuel cell and everything good to go. And yeah, we'll get the motor out and see how big the damage is. So before I even start pulling the motor out, I wanted to just get the fuel. There's methanol in here yet. I want to get the fuel out of the cell, and I'll put pump gas in this thing. I'll flow it through the system back to the regulator with, I use, every time I put the thing away, I just use regular stable storage additive. And then for like inside the air tank and the swing arm and the air shifter components, this works freaking great if the stuff is going to sit real long. I usually run a little bit of oil through the air shifter and boost control system once in a while anyways, but if the stuff's going to sit for a long amount of time, this stuff works really good because it doesn't get any kind of a gooey buildup. Works awesome. So I'm going to add some of that to the air tank and the air shifter, and that to the fuel, and I'll put some pump gas and flow it. And also, real quick, I got the batteries that I run. Right now I'm putting them in storage mode. So it says right here, storage. So what it'll do is it'll discharge them and bring them back up to a safe voltage, and then that's where they'll sit, and there'll be no maintenance for the rest of the year, and I'll put a fresh charge in them next year. So I got the air tank fogged full of oil. I'll add some air to that, and then I'll run it through the system. And then I got regular just pump 93 in the tank now with some lubricant and stabilizer. So what I'll do is I can go up here in my fuel tech and I can just activate the fuel pump output. So pump's running. I didn't tighten my line, but we'll just let the system circulate. Tighten my line, by the way. We'll call it good. So maybe some people do this, maybe I'm the only one. Whenever the bike's got to sit for any amount of time with motor out or no fuel rail, no fuel system's not connected, I just took some spare fittings and I just spliced the feed and the return together. So now even with the motor out of the bike, I can turn the ECU on and I can flow the fuel system and just keep things working. So every once in a while throughout the winter when the motor's out of the bike, I'll do this. And that way I can just keep everything working and nothing sits stagnant, nothing gets gummy and varnished. So I have literally never had to send anything out to get cleaned. So maybe people do this, maybe I'm the only one, but something for you to try if you want to look into it. So still going through my teardown, kind of slow because it's Sunday and I'm beat, but little reason to celebrate here. One of my biggest concerns with the turbo bike with having any cylinder head failures is having anything end up in the turbo, coming out the exhaust side, like the head of an exhaust valve going bloop 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 and getting sent into the frickin' exhaust housing. But I was already in here poking around and we're good. There's like 0 end play in that thing. This is a dual ball bearing turbo and there's no damage. So I'm stoked. Turbo's good because I had some tricks done to this one and I don't want to have them redone. It's not cheap. So we're good to go. So here's where we're at so far. I got the motors ready to drop out of there. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the oil pan, and all that does is gives me a little more clearance to once the motor is sitting down, I can slide it out of the frame without having to like lift the rest of the bike up to get a little extra clearance and fudging. So I'll get that off. Most of the stuff is all just tinkery, nuts and bolts, hoses, fittings. Everything comes off pretty easy. It's basically, that's everything sitting there. So I'm only like 40 minutes into this deal. Got the oil filter, I'll take that apart, but my mission for today is to get the motor out, and I just want to get the cylinder head off and see how bad the damage is. From what I can tell looking up into the exhaust ports is the valves are all still intact. I don't think anything ejected itself from the motor, so I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be piston damage and maybe cylinder damage, and more than likely the bottom of the head is going to be trashed. So we'll get her apart, see how it's clicking. So I wasn't going to pull the oil pan apart and clean it out, but looking at it, I don't see any debris in there, and I just want to like get the baffle and stuff off and really look, because I don't care what's wrecked on the motor. If there's no bearing debris in this thing, that just goes to show that my bottom end was still holding up. So I'm pretty sure this whole deal isn't going to be any kind of a oil system failure, which I'm stoked about, because like I said, previous videos, like I think I'm starting the 4th year on that bottom end. I've had to fix a couple little issues with other stuff, but that bottom end has been together that long. And if there's no crap in that pan, I'm going to be pretty thrilled about that. There's like nothing in the pan. It's freaking fine. That's awesome. Update. I got the cams out, which one of them's got a fucked up lobe. I don't know which one. It was the intake side has a fucked up lobe from that. You can see I got some carnage going on. But somehow, what I thought was actually broke wasn't. The cam chain is still intact. And actually everything down in there still looks good. So I'm going to pull the head off now and see what's actually going on inside.
And hunting is one of the biggest parts. I mean, yeah, you want to score a bunch of touchdowns. Yeah, you want to be able to move the ball down the field. But, you know, all the special teams, you're going to be on punt team and punt return team a lot. So you want to make sure that punt game is on point. So whatever we got to do to make sure that punt game is on point, we got to do it. But today, I don't think we'll see too much of the punt.
Wes, now that we know that Dean Bakhtiari will miss at least 6 games, the starting 2 rookies on the offensive line worry you?
No, because I think that was kind of the underlying assumption that a lot of us sort of were going with was that David Bakhtiari, you know, historically the way the Packers do this thing, they like to be conservative, not necessarily, I should say, I think it was Matt LaFleur talking about it, that 9 to 11 month window that you look at for guys in training. So we're really the Packers have been ready for this moment. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here in terms of our team and games and players and everything like that, but Josh Myers is a huge moment for him, and to be able to run this offense the way he has going back to May, even though it was Jordan Love under center at that time, he's taken every single snap to be ready for this moment during the offseason program and training camp. George Newman kind of came along, and I think quicker than some people thought he might, and for them to be in this position, first time in 15 years, and 2 starting rookies on their offensive line, they're going to see everything in the first half against the Saints, and they have to prove that they're up for it. But I don't think it's a major concern at all. Yeah, I think just on a slight concern, I would say that I'm worried about the way he's in growing pains. Yeah, there's going to be 2 rookies next to each other. I'm sure their defensive coordinators are going to do whatever they can to try to make that tough on those 2, and there's going to be some issues. There's going to be times where you kind of look at it and go, okay, that was a rookie mistake. Now, I do think it is, I want to be careful with this because I don't want to make it seem like I'm being insensitive to everything that happened in New Orleans with Hurricane Ida. The fact that this game is not being played in the Superdome with 2 rookie offensive linemen in first time that they've anything since playing across games, 18 months. Like, this is a break for the Packers to be able to play on the road, to be able to go to Jacksonville where I just saw an estimated 10 million Packer fans to Saints fans right now. It's going to be a better environment for these 2 rookies to get accustomed to the NFL.
No, this is going to be a huge concern. Not this game. I mean, I think this game will want to look at the season gets on what I thought we already can for the first 6-7 weeks. It's going to be huge. There's an opportunity for these young fellas to step up. Absolutely. We're talking about the best tackler in football, in my opinion, in Bakhtiari, being able to hold it down. The only thing that keeps coming to mind is the last game the Packers played, and that was against Tampa. And now Tampa came after him with no Bakhtiari, and we didn't have an answer. So I'm hoping he gets back, you know, and back to full strength, you know, when he's able to come back. But it's going to be a concern. That's not going to be watching today. Can they hold up and they give Aaron time to get the ball out to Devontae Adams, Randall Cobb, Lazar, and all these boys?
So here's where we're at currently. I think I'm borderline lucky, unlucky. What I thought failed didn't. Cam chain. I got super lucky that it contained all the valves stayed in the head. They are fucked up, but nothing fucking dropped and nothing went through the motor. This, see if I can rotate it around without the cam chain getting wound up here. Just freaking stuck. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. So the motor rotates over, it's free. The bottom end of this thing is good, except this piston here, number one. First of all, look how good everything looks for the age of the passes I got on this thing. But this hit the valves pretty hard. I mean, everything's gonna come apart on the bottom end anyways, but I'm probably gonna do a set of pistons because I don't like how hard that hit. And sometimes, you know, when everything's nice and hot and you take a hit like that, this might actually be stuck on the wrist pin. So I'm gonna double check the small end of the rods. Odds are pretty good that this bearing top half probably got smacked. This one tapped a little bit. These look good. I don't see any witness marks from hitting anything, but I'm pretty stoked that the cases are good. Rotating assembly is good. Pretty positive that the crank and rods will be fine. I'll do a set of pistons and re-ring this, re-bearing it. The head, I need to really look close at it, but right now I'm thinking the head is going to be savable. I don't see any like structural massive damage. It just knocked the valves out of it, and I'm not going to act like a know-it-all on this one. I don't exactly know what started this. It was mid-pass. It was pulling like a motherfucker through second gear. I shifted third, and it just kind of went flat. It went burp and shut off. There was no like bang, smoke, clatter, nothing. It just went flat and shut off. So I need to dig that carnage out of there and really look to see what's going on. That tappet bore might be messed up a little bit, but I got a hole and I can stick in there and clean that up. So we're gonna get looking a little closer and investigate. I'm just glad right now I'm not gonna tear into that. I need to make sure this is good. That I'm pretty sure is gonna be bearings and pistons, and we'll be good. So here's how it stands. I'm pretty sure the head's gonna be savable. I started knocking valve guides out. There was 4 valve guides that were messed up because those 4 valves had to come out of the head and they're all bent. So these 4 and all the exhausts were good. They came out straight, nothing's bent there. But yeah, these 2 cylinders of intake valves took a beating. So I got them marked, so I just remember which ones I'm gonna bang out. Got one guide out already. I'll get guides ordered. I can get this put back together. I'll get some valves and stuff coming. It'll be a little while because I'm in no hurry to do this, but yeah, I think we'll be able to save it. So that'll get bearings and pistons. This will get seats, or not seats, valves and guides. And then I did lose one cam. The intake cam is junk. Lobes are knocked out of it from beating up on that cylinder. So lucky for me, I happen to have a spare head and cam package ready to go. Oh, dang it. So for now, that's all the deconstruction we're gonna do. Hopefully the next video I'll be cleaning and maybe doing some reassembly. I'll probably start with that. I know it's probably gonna be a wait for valves and hardware, but that I might be able to get going on pretty quick. So stay tuned for that.